Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pro Football Historian channel. I'm your host, Link Evan, and let's talk about last night's game. So, really, you could say the 49ers dominated the first maybe half, you could say, and they only went up 10 nothing. Should have been 21, at least, maybe 14, maybe 17. But with the interception, Garoppolo threw in the end zone and other mistakes, just kept Tennessee in the game. Tennessee had a very bad first half. You basically just hear them getting booed by the fans the whole game. Well, at least the first half, I should say. And then came out and they went down the field, got a field goal. They got another interception. Garoppolo overthrew, I believe, Deebo Samuel. And then Titans got the ball, went down. It was 10-10, and it was a game from there. And Tennessee won on the last second field goal. Pretty even game. It was really both teams kind of playing sloppy, and the Titans came out with the victory. They played better overall, especially in the second half. Let's move on to the next game. Again, this is going to be a Saturday game at 4:30 Eastern time. Uh, Packers are going to be, I guess, heavy favorites. You want to say Baker Mayfield could play this game. We're still not sure from what I know, and I believe he has to test negative on game day, so he won't have any practice, which is going to hurt the Browns even if he does play. And you would like to at least have Case Keenum, if anything, but I'm not sure if that is even a possibility. Again, the Packers, they're playing for that number one seed. They would like this victory, just like the Browns are desperate. They need this victory. They lose this, season's pretty much over. I don't think 9-8 is going to get it. And that Raiders loss was big last week, and they had that. They could have more wiggle room to lose this game, but it's going to be desperation versus a team that has wants to get the number one seed, and they're the better team. I expect them to win. Their home. It's Christmas Day. A lot of things are pointing to the Packers. The only thing I think the Browns get a shot is maybe running the ball, but I think the Packers can just load the box. They have the corners. They can cover these Browns receivers. They're not one of the bottom quarter receiving corners in the league, and there's really no one explosive or a deep threat on that team that's healthy right now. Moving on to the other Saturday game, the Cardinals and Colts. It's one of the best games this week. If I had to pick this game, I'm going to go with the Colts, not just because they've looked better the last few weeks. I think they also match up pretty well against Cardinals. The Cardinals should be pretty desperate after two losses, especially a bad one last week. So, you know, both teams need this victory. The Colts, division wise, I think it's over. Oh, no, if they lose, it's over. I don't think they're going to win the division. I think they're going to be a wild card. And fifth or sixth seed is a little more likely for the Colts. For the Cardinals, they lose this. It gives the Rams a chance to control the division. Um, Really, the Cardinals are blowing this. They're not going to get the number one seed most likely. They blew their chance probably for getting that. And hopefully it's a good game. I think the Colts will just run the ball and control the clock. I think Wentz will have a better game this week. I think he should have chances to throw the ball and be efficient. And that's really all the Colts need him to do. And the Cardinals, they do a lot of short routes. They try to pick defenders. But the Colts are a lot of zone, so I don't really see that working out. So maybe the screen game and the run game can work, but Colts defense is pretty good. Moving on to this game, the Detroit Lions going to Atlanta. I actually expect this to be a pretty close game. I was considering picking Detroit, but I think Atlanta just has the better quarterback, and that's really all I'm going with. I think the Lions, though, better offensive line, better defensive line, other than Grady Jarrett. I know Atlanta has him, but I like the front of both sides of the ball, the Lions more, which allows them to be in this game, I think. And then but I just think that Atlanta's a little more talented offensively, so that's why I'm going to give them the small low scoring victory, and maybe it's a couple points, maybe 3 points. Who knows? I could see the Lions win this game, but they got their two victories. I think Atlanta, they're pretty much out of the playoffs, but I think they're going to play. And, it's pretty impressive that they're going to get 7 wins, even if it's against some bad teams, if they do win this game. Tampa Bay and Carolina. Uh, yeah, and Tampa Bay is a better team. They're had a bad loss last week against the Saints, and they played the Panthers twice in the next 3 weeks. They should win all three of these games. I know they got the Jets in between. I think Sam Darnold is going to play this game. Don't think it's Cam Newton. I know Cam Newton is 2-0 against Tom Brady in his career, but that's against the Patriots. Different team, different time. Cam Newton hasn't even won a game with the Panthers in a few years. I know he went to New England last year, but I really don't have much faith. Maybe they can keep it close defensively, maybe because a lot of injuries Tampa Bay has to deal with this week and for the rest of the season. So maybe the Carolina can keep it close. They do play them twice. I expect one of these games to be close, but I just don't see him scoring. I have a hard time seeing them getting over 20. I think Tampa Bay, even though they're still the number one scoring team with no points last week, uh, I expect them to get over 20, maybe even 30, and win this game. I had Baltimore Cincinnati. Very hard pick to pick this game. I know Cincinnati blew out Baltimore, and both teams are somewhat desperate, but I'm going to pick Baltimore, even though a lot not favoring them. I think they're just really desperate. They need this victory. I guess the Bengals do too, but I think it's a different quarterback. I think they're going to be better for what Cincinnati's going to throw at them. But again, how are they going to cover these Bengals receivers? That is a good question. I at least expect this to be close, not a blowout, like it was a couple of weeks ago, more than that, a month or two ago. But I could completely, the Bengals could easily win this game. Bengals inconsistent, Ravens a little more consistent, but they're not as talented. And they lost 3 in a row. I just think maybe they'll get a victory. It's hard to see them losing 4 in a row. Chargers, Texans, just go through this quickly. I think the Chargers are a better team. Chargers should come with a victory. Um, I don't really see the Lovie Smith cover 2 base defense slowing the Chargers much down. I don't see really Texans having a shot in this game. Other than the Chargers have been inconsistent. They have, they played Thursday the last time, so they have more time to prepare, even though it is for the Texans. Again, Chargers should win this game, and it shouldn't be that close. Ram Vikings, hopefully this is a good game. I mean, on paper, you could see how it could be a good game. Don't know what the Vikings every week what you're going to get, but they usually have the lead. If not even usually, I think they've always had the lead this year in terms of they've always got the lead. Not held on, but and then for the Rams, I don't know if Cam Akers is coming back this week, but that should help the run game, especially for the playoffs. Makes them a little bit more dangerous. Wasn't a great game they played against Seattle offensively, but they should be able to take care of the Vikings. And I don't see the Vikings defense giving too much issues. Stafford's used to that defense as well, playing against them. Um, I think the Rams should win in a very close game in Minnesota. Minnesota kind of needs us with the Eagles and Saints with the same record, and I believe they will lose. They don't have a tiebreaker over those two teams, so if they lose this and win the next two, let's say, they would need the other teams to lose 2 games in terms of the Eagles and Saints, which is, I guess, possible if you look at the schedules of both teams, but it's not very likely. Again, let's move on to Buffalo, New England. This game. I'm just gonna pick New England. I think they can win a game throwing three passes. They're gonna throw more this time, and I think that means Buffalo can't just shut down the run or focus so much on the run. New England's home this game. I could see Buffalo winning this. It's kind of like the Bengals Ravens game. I just could go either way, and I'm going with New England in this one instead. So Buffalo loses the game. They should win the next two, but then they're 10-7, and they probably want the tiebreaker. So Buffalo really doesn't need this victory, but if they get it, it really helps their chances of getting in the playoffs. And for New England, that pretty much will win the division and still have a shot for the number one seed. Titans won, so they need to keep pace even for the number two. And yeah, let's move on to the next game called the Trevor Lawrence versus Zach Wilson game, the number one pick versus the number two. And Jacksonville was a new interim coach last week. It didn't really matter. I don't see how that helps them too much in this game. And I think the Jets are just a slightly better team. I'm more of a Zach Wilson guy over Trevor Lawrence, but not by a lot. I think both of them eventually will be pretty good. Just right now, I've seen more from the Jets than the Jags, to be honest. Not saying much, but that's where I'm leaning to where I think the Jets will win this game. And I believe it's a half-point spread, so I will take the Jets if I even was doing the spread. This game, I know, is a huge spread. It's like almost 10 or something. And the Eagles lost to the Giants a few weeks ago. I don't see them doing those kind of mistakes. They did a lot. They made a mistake last week when they came out. But that could have been because they had a long stretch, like a 16-day bye. So the Giants should have Mike Lennon, could be Jake Fromm. It'd be a hard time to see him scoring over 13. And I think the Eagles can get 20, maybe more. So I expect the Eagles to win. The spread wise, it should be pretty close, should be near that spread. And yeah, so I think the Eagles should win. They need it. And they'll play Washington, Dallas, and they just need to keep pace with the Saints, which Saints we'll talk about later, who have a tough matchup since they're going to be starting their fourth-string quarterback, Indian Buck. This game could be one of the ugliest games this week. I think this is going to be like a 13-16 type game. I'm going to pick Seattle to win this, but no faith in either team, to be honest. I'm just going to go with better quarterback. Team that's shown a little bit more recently, and the team I might have a little more trust in. Again, Seattle's pretty much out of it. They won last week. They were at least maybe in it a little bit more, but even then, fair and realistic, even if with the win last week, they were in the playoffs, and the Bears are out of it. So that's my pick, Seattle. Steelers, Chiefs, another big game this week. If this was a home game for the Steelers, I might consider them, but the Chiefs 7.5 point spread, I believe. Chiefs should win this. They're home, still playing for that number one seed. For Pittsburgh, they really need this win, but I just don't see it. I think the Chiefs win this, could cover the spread. Steelers defense really hasn't played that well. They've had a couple decent games, but I don't know how Patrick Mahomes and the offense will play. We don't even know if Kelsey or Hill will play. But I'm pretty confident the Chiefs should win this game still. Denver, Las Vegas. Very tough game to decide, but I think I'm going to go with Denver. Even with Drew Lock, I think Drew Lock's playing for his career almost. And I think they have the more talented team on pretty much every phase of the game, other than maybe pass rush. They are the better team, other than in quarterback. So that's why I'm going to pick Denver. Even though they're not home, I don't really see the home field advantage for Las Vegas doing much. And I think Denver comes out with this victory. And basically both should probably not make the playoffs. And whoever loses will be definitely out of it. Washington, Dallas. I'm going to go with Dallas. Even though I said a few weeks back, I think they're going to split it. I'm going to go against that just because we don't know who's playing for Washington. Dallas is home now. Mm, and there's a lot of question for Washington. Who's playing? Who's healthy? Who doesn't have COVID? For Dallas, they have a lot of their pieces back. And they are trying to play for the number one seed. I don't know if they're going to get it. They do have some of the tiebreakers in their advantage, and they're undefeated in the division. So they just need to keep pace. They're the number two right now, and they'd like to hold on to that. Let's go to the last game where Ian Book and the Saints is going to play Miami at home. And Miami won 6 straight. They were 1-7 not that long ago. They're now 7-7. Since they have their quarterback and the Saints are playing a rookie, Ian Book I was never high on. I'm sure they can probably throw a lot of short passes and take care of the football a little bit, but I just see a mistake or two against this good Miami defense. They should win this game. Just moving on to some of the news this week. Injured reserve for Mason Cole. The Saints signed Blake Bortles as their fifth quarterback. Some COVID news for the Bills. Tyler Lockett COVID. Kelly won't be playing. I think he had a family issue. Someone dying in his family. So prayers up to him. More injury news. We know Lante David's out for the year. Cam Akers is designated to return, so he might play. They have time for him to get healthy. I would worry more about that than playing him this week. And we already got that kind of news. Again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video and should be back on Tuesday for the recap. Bye. And have a Merry Christmas.